everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040, bringing to you another edition of the Wrestling Discussion Series. And February 15th, 2004 marks 20 years ago that history was made at No Way Out 2004 when Eddie Guerrero defeated Brock Lesnar to win his first and only WWE title. And for today's edition, I am going to be talking about the success and failures of Eddie Guerrero's WWE Championship run from February 2004 to June 2004. So, Eddie Guerrero was already a long established veteran, highly respected by all the fans and his peers, and had competed all around the world from Japan to Mexico to WCW and ECW. And he debuted in the WWF in January 2000 as part of the Radicals with Chris Benoit, Perry Saturn, and Dean Malenko after the foursome jumped ship from WCW to WWF. And during Eddie Guerrero's first year in the WWF, he won the Intercontinental title and the European title and was one half of a very entertaining duo with China, known as Mamacita. And after that, later on, Eddie Guerrero would win the tag team titles with his nephew Chavo Guerrero and also become the first ever WWE US champion when SmackDown general manager Stephanie McMahon revived the US title under the WWE umbrella and set up a championship tournament, which, as we all know, Eddie Guerrero defeated his longtime friend and Radicals teammate Chris Benoit in the finals of the tournament at Vengeance 2003. So, as we all know, it was well documented that Eddie Guerrero had a drug problem and was released from the company in 2001. And he would make his return in April 2002. And he pretty much worked his way not only back into the graces of the company, but he started to really win the fans over with his entertaining antics and his great in-ring performances in the ring and putting on some unbelievable matches. So after Los Guerreros disbanded, Eddie Guerrero gained much more sympathy and a lot more fan support than he had ever received previously. Eddie Guerrero was already getting lots of cheers and pops and lots of fan support prior to the Los Guerreros tag team disbanding. But once Chavo Guerrero turned on his uncle, this resulted in Eddie Guerrero becoming a much more bigger babyface than he had ever been in his career. And Eddie Guerrero would go on to win a 15 Royal Rumble match on SmackDown to earn the right to become the number one contender against Brock Lesnar's WWE title. And he would go on to face the Beast at No Way Out 2004. And the build up for the title was absolutely fantastic. Eddie Guerrero cut some of the best promos of his career and really told a very personal and real story about his addiction problems and his marriage breaking down and all sorts of very deep and personal stuff. And it was very clear going into No Way Out 2004 that Eddie Guerrero was as hot as he had ever been. And I remember watching No Way Out 2004 with my best friend. We watched Brock Lesnar and Eddie Guerrero battle each other for the WWE title, and it was an absolute fantastic match. And Brock Lesnar was at his peak as the WWE champion. Eddie Guerrero was the underdog, but size didn't matter to Eddie Guerrero. He went in there and gave one of the best in ring performances of his career, and he defeated Brock Lesnar to win the WWE title. Of course, a little assistance from Raw's Goldberg would also swing things in his favor. But that was more to help set up Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg at WrestleMania 20. But nobody really cared about that. Eddie Guerrero finally won the WWE title, and It was one of the true feel good moments in wrestling history. And it was one of those special moments where a guy who worked really hard to not only conquer his demons, but come out on the other side better than ever and showed everyone that he really deserved to be in the main event. And it was a real emotional moment. And I remember me and my best friend, we were just so happy that finally we got a champion who deserved to be in that spot. Because, we've seen many times before, lots of guys didn't deserve to win the title, but Eddie Guerrero was part of a very special club with guys who really deserved to win it. And it was an unbelievable moment. So Eddie Guerrero was now the WWE champion, and he'll go on to defend the title against Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 20 in, for me, one of the best matches of the show. And he lied, cheated, and stole his way to another victory and retained the WWE title. It was a fantastic match. And Eddie Guerrero would go on to have a very bloody and personal war against Bradshaw, who was now known as JBL, aka John Bradshaw Layfield. And this resulted in not one, but two violent bloodbaths at Judgment Day 2004 and the Great American Bash 2004. And their second match was a Texas bull rope match, which resulted in Eddie Guerrero losing the WWE title to JBL. But I thought in the time that Eddie Guerrero held the WWE title from February 2004 to June 2004 was absolutely amazing. The only downside to it, I would say, is I just wished it was a little bit longer. Maybe him and Chris Benoit should have both lost the titles at SummerSlam 2004, but that wasn't meant to be. But in that time that he was champion, he defeated Brock Lesnar, as I said already. Sadly, we wouldn't get a rematch because Brock Lesnar would leave the company the following month after WrestleMania 20. He wouldn't face Kurt Angle because Kurt Angle went on a break and became the on screen SmackDown general manager. And he would face JBL in two back to back pay per view matches. And also, he would get a rematch in a cage match just the following month after the Great American Bash. But in that time, he was a fighting champion. He put on some great matches, put on some unbelievable in ring performances. I would just say that I just wished it was a little bit longer because, I was really getting into Eddie Guerrero as the WWE champion because it was just a nice change. Because, all due respect to Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle, it was just nice to see someone different win the title. And it was a lot of fun. Eddie Guerrero was a great champion. And sadly, Eddie Guerrero wouldn't win another world title. He would pretty much stay in the tag team division. He would team up with Booker T, Rey Mysterio. He pretty much would stay there. And also, he would go on to have another heel run in 2005, one of the best heel runs of his career. But other than that, after he lost the WWE title, he pretty much never went into the main event again, which is a real shame, really, because he was still one of the top guys on the SmackDown brand, but he wouldn't get another title shot until Armageddon 2004 in a fatal four-way match with Booker T and The Undertaker and JBL defending the title against three opponents. But that was pretty much it, really. Eddie Guerrero wouldn't win another title, but boy, was it a lot of fun. It was so good to see Latino Heat win the title and enjoy a good run. I mean, I'm glad it didn't last just 1 month. I'm glad he got to have a good few months under his belt. But as I said, I just wished it was a little bit longer. I would have liked to have seen Eddie Guerrero hold the title a little bit longer, maybe defend it against The Undertaker and maybe Booker T, maybe John Cena as well at some point, or even the Big Show. Few missed opportunities there, I'm afraid. But it is what it is. But the main thing is, someone very deserving got to have his time in the spotlight and win the big one. So, in terms of the success and failures of Eddie Guerrero's WWE Championship run from 2004, I would say overall it was a complete success. You know, it was good to see WWE try to give different guys a chance, guys who actually deserved it, instead of seeing the same old boring, tired faces that we're so used to seeing. You know, props to WWE. The only failure I would say is I just wished it was a little bit longer. That's the only failure. But overall, the success outweighs the failure. There was no bad matches in Eddie Guerrero's championship run. Lots of entertaining moments, lots of great feuds. As I said, Kurt Angle and JBL. Overall, it was a complete success. I really enjoyed it. And it's really hard to believe that it was 20 years ago that Eddie Guerrero won the WWE title at No Way Out 2004. Just seems like yesterday that I was just watching it with my best friend. And sadly, as we all know, Eddie Guerrero would leave us in November 2005 when he sadly passed away at age 38. And my best friend, of course, he would pass away years after. But the memories that we have of Eddie Guerrero as the WWE champion, they'll be cherished forever. And the memory I got to share with my best friend when we watched Eddie Guerrero win the WWE title for the first time, that will stay with me in my heart forever. But yeah, as I said, overall, a complete success. I really enjoyed it. Nothing bad to say about Eddie Guerrero's WWE Championship run, except the fact that maybe should have been a little bit longer. And from my understanding, before Eddie Guerrero passed away, he was meant to win the world title from Batista on SmackDown in 2005. I think it was going to be a triple threat match: Batista, Eddie Guerrero, and Randy Orton. I mean, that's what I heard. And, you know, that would have been a really cool moment to see Eddie Guerrero win the world title one more time. But what we have got, even though it was only one run, what a run it was. Could have done with lasting a little bit longer, but hey, the main thing is we got a run, and Eddie Guerrero got to have his time in the main event spot. Props to Eddie Guerrero, one of the greatest wrestlers in the world and one of the most deserving guys in the history of the business. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What was your thoughts on Eddie Guerrero's WWE Championship run from 2004? Did you enjoy it? What was your favourite feud from that run? Was it against Kurt Angle or was it against JBL? Do you think his title run should have been a little bit longer? Or was you okay with the length of time that Eddie Guerrero held the WWE title? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Wrestling Discussion Series. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.